adventures. And in fact, rabbit hole fact number 3.
That Spaceman Spiff, Calvin's outer space hero alter ego, came before the creation of Calvin.
Kind of. In a more meaningful way, he will come before him in a second. But one of the regular things that Watterson draws was a character called Raumfahrer Rolf, which I guess is German for Spaceman Rolf. And Spaceman Rolf has adventures that often end with him getting eaten by aliens. Apparently no one has images of this online or anything anywhere. But it's interesting, and you'll see again, like, it was sort of that spaceman adventure character that was sort of the thing that he always wanted to do, at least at the beginning. In high school, he draws for the school newspaper, the Valley Lantern. He draws a lot of cartoons lampooning high school life. Rabbit hole fact number 4.
That the mascot for his high school was a tiger.
So apparently he was drawing very often tigers because, you know, the tiger would speak for the school for various things or whatever. In 1976, he's graduating high school, and on a whim, he submits an editorial cartoon to the local paper, which was the Sun Herald. It got published. He goes to Kenyon College in Ohio, and when he gets there as a freshman, he discovers that Jim Borgman had recently graduated the spring before him, and Borgman had just been hired to be the political cartoonist for the Cincinnati Enquirer. So Watterson decides he wants to be a political cartoonist. He becomes the political cartoonist for the campus newspaper at Kenyon. He starts a strip just for the paper called Mukes and Fester. And quoting from the Martell book, 3 Mukes and Fester strips I was able to dig up in the Kenyon Library from 1979. Mukes is spilling a beer, kickstarting a food fight that's reminiscent of the strips in which Calvin literally fights with his food. In another Calvin moment, Fester is daydreaming in poli-sci class before creating a ruckus by coughing out a commentary, shit, bullshit. Which, I got the sense from the biography, this is like the era of, like, the movie Animal House or whatever. Like, just from what my dad has told me about, like, college in the 70s, I got a sense that Watterson had a real college in the 70s college experience.
It's sounding like it. And it also, I think, is so easy in hindsight to map this on to that spirit of rebellion that ends up being the backbone of Calvin and Hobbes. That, you know, this is essentially how that character would behave as young adults.
Well, also, there's 2 things that kind of don't track. I saw a lot of quotes that said that Watterson had a sharper sense of humor, like a darker sense of humor than maybe came through in Calvin and Hobbes. Like there's another picture apparently that the biographer found from college where Watterson drew himself sitting at his desk in a room full of empty beer bottles and cans and a poster of the Ayatollah Khomeini in the background. He's wearing a wife beater and shorts decorated with the Playboy logo while a thought bubble floats above him filled with nothing but an asterisk. So that, and he's a poli-sci major. He wants to be a political cartoonist. Like, one of the things about Calvin and Hobbes, which is, I'm not saying this makes it better or anything, but it's timeless because it's sort of completely apolitical and almost acultural in the sense that you kind of can't pin it down in time.
Yeah, the things that it's satirizing are like the crassness of television commercials, like things that
Right.
absolutely predate the strip and are still relevant today. Like, it satirizes like political polling with him, the runner where he's occasionally checking in on his dad's numbers and he's not clear how his dad was elected dad. Like, it definitely, like, it's a world where satire exists, but it's not Doonesbury or something where if you read it 2 years later, you're only going to be able to understand maybe a third of them.
Or even Bloom County, which I was a huge fan of at the time too. But like, if you read old books of Bloom County and they're making jokes about Gary Hart and stuff like that, and it's like, even though that was another strip that involved children and anthropomorphic animals and things like that, that's clearly obviously dated, but with a different purpose.